As always, don't forget to check the video description down below for the best price on tools and parts I use in today's video. Today, we have this 2004 Nissan Altima, and the customer called out about a camshaft position sensor. I believe it's gonna be that guy right there, but when we got here, looked at it, it had a P1273, P1273, and the most common probable cause for that is gonna be this bank 1, sensor 1, air-fuel ratio sensor, also known as your oxygen sensor, but they call it a fancy name so they can charge more for it. I guess it does different stuff as well, but it's just this guy right here, and a lot of you guys are just going to go ahead and try and replace that. You could do that, and to get to it, it's just you take your little oxygen sensor socket, put it on there, twist it off, and then this little connector right here, it goes like this. You just pop it off and pull it out. I think, there you go, like that. And this one, it was like this one I got here. I believe it mounts right here, but we'll go ahead and push this back in. Then we can maybe mount it up for, put a little zip tie like that, because whoever did it just kind of left it dangling. Now, she had already done this, so I'm gonna kind of explain what you can kind of do to check and see if there's another issue. Now, the really easy thing that the average do-it-yourselfer can do is going to be what I'm about to tell you. The rest of it is going to require an expensive scan tool, and if you have the $5,000–$10,000 scan tool, you probably not watch this video. So let's talk about the intake air leak. Okay, that's one possible cause, is an intake air leak. Now, this intake tube right here starts, the air comes in here, right? Then you have your mass airflow sensor. It's measuring the volume of air going into the engine. Now, if any air comes in beyond this point, that's going to cause a problem. It can throw this code. So what you can do, be very, very careful. Always have a fire extinguisher. You take some starter fluid, carburetor cleaner, and turn the car on, run the car, and then just hit. Like, there's that. I know your brake booster runs off vacuum. There's that little line right there, and you're gonna hit all these spots. There's a hose, or was it right up here? You're gonna hit all these spots while it's running. Now, again, very careful. You could start a fire. It could be really bad. Now, if you hit an air leak with that, your engine is gonna go whoom, and that's how you're gonna know, oh, hey, there's an air leak there. It's causing my code. You just fix the air leak, replace the tube, the hose, whatever it is. That's one issue. Okay. Let's see, the next thing is fuel pressure could be down, which could be like a weak fuel pump, or it could be a stopped up fuel filter. In the history of my career, I've like never seen a fuel filter cause a problem. The parts stores sell the crap out of some fuel filters, but it's almost never ever the issue, but it could be. Something obstructing the fuel, causing low fuel pressure. So that would be a weak fuel pump, bad fuel pump that's kind of working, or fuel filter, something is shut on the line. The next thing is fuel injector. This is another probable cause. It could be a bad fuel injector. You could go in here and your fuel injectors are right sitting back there. I don't know if you're seeing it too good. Let's see if I can put my finger on one. That's gonna be, I think right there, you can just barely see it. That's the connector, but you got 4 of them just sitting right across there. You might be able to see it. Yeah, there's one. Bam. Right there, back there, you can see it. Yep. And so you can replace those. That's kind of a big job. You don't want to do it just on a hunch, because it's a lot to do just for its possibility. So fuel pressure leak, fuel injectors, intake. What was the other thing? Oh yeah, wiring. Obviously, we're gonna look at the wiring on this one. This one's new. We don't see any obvious kind of wiring issue. Right, let's see. Oh, there we go. And the connector, you can make sure you don't have any bent pins. So we're gonna open this back up and just kind of look in there, make sure none of the pins are kind of bent or anything. Make sure everything looks good. Make sure on the other side of this connector, nothing really looks bad. All that looks normal. And you can kind of, as far as you can see, kind of follow it and just make sure there's no breaks. It's not very common for a wire to break. A lot of times it's a critter bites the wire, or you get in an accident and break a wire. Unless some cars have really common reoccurring problem where the wire breaks. I didn't find this on this car. So that's just briefly looking at the wire. And then let's see. And then an internal failure on the air fuel ratio sensor. You can check this. All I know to check is the heater part of the air fuel ratio sensor. So we're gonna open this up to do this. And I believe you could Google this, but from what I found, it looks like the two middle ones. So the white, what's that, white and gray? So we go right over here. We're gonna just kind of set our little sensor, and it should be between, after a quick Google search, I found 2 and 14 ohms. So we're gonna set up our meter in ohm mode, and then we're gonna go hit these two in the middle, bam, and we have, earlier it was reading 4. Oh, yo, okay, we got 3.7, okay. 3.56. Anyways, it was reading 4 ohms. So the heater on this one is good. And then the other circuit, I can get it to read any other resistance readings on any of the other pins, but that one varies depending on the level of oxygen going through the exhaust. So that's how you can check the heater part of the oxygen sensor. And other than that, here in just a minute, I'll sit down and I can't screenshot because it is copyright and it's about $2,000 a year, the software that I use, but I'll just kind of read through it, and that way you can get an idea of the advanced diagnosis procedure. So we'll do that here in just a minute. Okay guys, so real quick, I'm gonna briefly read through this diagnostic procedure. If you don't have access to this information, the point I'm trying to prove is you may be incapable of doing this. I mean, and you need the pictures and stuff too, but just so I really just want you to get an idea of what's happening here with the diagnosis. Kind of gives you an idea of what the person at the dealership will be looking at. So here it is. Step 1 of the procedure is you're going to check your grounds, and to do that, they want you to turn the ignition switch off, loosen and retighten the 3 ground screws on the body, retighten air fuel ratio sensor. Turn off the ignition switch. This is step 2. Turn off the ignition switch, loosen and retighten the air fuel ratio sensor. Tightening torque gives you the torque spec. And then it gives you the procedure. If you have the scan tool, it gives you the procedure without the scan tool, or without consult 2. It says start engine and warm it up to normal operating temperature. Turn the ignition switch off, disconnect master airflow center harness connector, and restart and run engine for at least 3 seconds at idle speed. Stop engine and reconnect the master airflow sensor harness connector. Make sure DTC P0102 is displayed. Erase the DTC memory. Make sure DTC P0000 is displayed. Run engine for at least 10 minutes at idle speed. Is the first trip DTC P0171 detected? Is it difficult to start the engine? If yes, perform trouble diagnostic for DTC P0171. If no, go to step 4. Step 4 is check air fuel ratio sensor, power supply circuit, disconnect AF sensor 1 harness, turn ignition switch on. So as you can see, is in, like, we get down to here where it says detect malfunctioning part. Harness connector is E21F34, and then IPDM ER harness connector E122, and 10 amp fuse, and harness for open to short AF sensor 1 and fuse. So for like the average do-it-yourselfer, this is gonna be crazy. I'm gonna skip down to all the end is where it says like the different fixes, and we got like repair or replace harness or connectors is 1 fix at the end of the tree. Repair open circuit or short to ground or short to power in the harness or connectors, that's another fix. Replace AF sensor 1, that's another fix. Replace AF sensor 1, that's another fix. And then repair or replace. What is it talking about, repairing or replacing? That's it. That's all it's got for us. So you can maybe just go backwards and just look at the fixes for it and try that stuff. I don't know, but this is the point. I will sometimes spend like 2 hours on this stuff and get nowhere. So this is where I have a guy here locally, dealerships use them too, and he comes in and does this stuff. So it's just not recommended. I don't recommend you guys trying to take this stuff on, especially if you don't have access to this information. But anyways, that's it. I just want to kind of give you guys an idea of what the proper repair or diagnosis procedure is for like these really difficult problems, and hopefully you have kind of an idea now. You just heard me read through it. So that's it. Thanks for watching.